Gracie. I'm always. We are live. What's up? Let me just double check that we are live. Because I'm excited, because I want to get you excited, because I have created a mini training for you. And it's something that is an exciting topic because we're going to talk about launch calendars. The reason that is exciting is because we need to start talking about how we're actually going to start making some damn sales already. You're in the business of helping people. You're in the business of making an impact, which means I need you to be in the business of selling your offer. So I've created a mini training. We're going to dive in and we're going to dive in. You like that? And look at some slides and walk you through this whole thing. But I really need you guys to understand and get excited about the fact that we have to plan when you are actually going to start promoting and selling our stuff. So let's dive in. Share my screen here. All right, do you even have a launch calendar? That is my question to you. So the goal is sales. You want to make money, you want to sell your offers, whatever your offers might be. We need to get you to map this out. And if you don't have this mapped out, I want you to follow along and create your own launch calendar with what it is I'm going to teach you. So what are you selling? What's your product? What's the price point of that product? You know, have you had that mapped out? And when are you planning on selling it? I know I'm being repetitive, but these are questions that, you know, people come to me all the time and they want to launch a business, they want to launch a brand, they want to help people, all these awesome ideas and this awesome vision. But it's like when I ask these two simple questions, what are you selling and when are you selling it? There's no answer, which means there's no launch calendar. So we're in the business of business. We have to make this happen. This is what a launch calendar looks like. This is on my Apple Calendar. You can use yours in your Google Cal if you're old school and you want to go pen and paper. Totally cool. I just need you to have a launch calendar. We're going to map this out, and I'm going to use my awesome client, Jamie Morocco, as a case study to help you through this. So let's get it done. Look at her. Great picture. Your online trainer and nutrition coach. Love this girl. So what is the offer? It's a 90-day Eat for Your Goals program. So the price point of the offer, here's the sales page. I've had to chop it up so it fits. But the price point is $650 regular. She does sell the offer on sales calls. So she does give an on-call incentive for $500. If they buy it outside of the call, it is $650. Or they can jump on a payment plan. So that's a 3-pay. So 3 payments of $250 regular. Or if they're buying off of the sales call, the incentive is $200 for 3 payments. So that's Jamie, that's the offer. It's a 90-day Eat for Your Goals. We're not going to talk about the business system or the strategy. I have videos that I've created on that. I want to talk more about the launch calendar today, but I just want you to really get what's going on. So she sends Facebook traffic to people. She sends Facebook traffic to get people to download her free guide, to get them into her emails where she builds a relationship with them. She sends them these awesome emails. If you're not on her list, you should get on her list. And then she sends them to her sales page. So this is her flow. Facebook ads to free guide to automated emails to her sales page. This is how it all goes down. As it relates to her launch calendar, we have to, hey, Jamie, you're here. What's up? As it relates to your launch calendar, again, we need to know 3 things. When are you going to launch? How long are your launches going to be, right? So how you're going to be launching for, 1 week? Are you going to be launching for 5 days? And if you have questions and you want to talk about how long it should be, feel free to leave some comments and we can definitely get into that conversation. But these are the 3 things you want to know. The final one is, when are you going to lead generate? That's a big question. When are you going to bring in those leads that you want to funnel your launch, right? The goal of the launch is to open enrollment and to make sales. We need those leads in there ahead of time. So when we're using Jamie's example, the launches that we had mapped out on her launch calendar when we did this for 2017, what's wrong with my language today? Am I having a tough time with my words? Is that all the time?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry guys. For 2017, for March, for June, and for September, better? Kind of, right? How long are your launches going to be? 11-day launches. When are you going to lead generate? The month prior to each launch. So this is what her calendar would look like. So if we look at the yellow, that would be when she's lead generating. So the pink sections there, those are the launches. Remember we said she wants to launch in March, June, and September. And this is just an example. Of course, things can move around and change and shift, all good. But you'll see here, you can ignore the blue. Those are separate other launches for other stuff she's got going on. But if you can see here, the yellow in April all the way till May, right? So from April 17th until May 17th is yellow. That means she's building her email list so that she can nurture them. She can build a relationship with them. She can show them value. They're downloading the free guide. These people are going to go and get ready for her June launch. So the pink 12 to 23 in June, that's 11 days. Remember we said she's launching for 11 days? So we have to map this calendar out. And the reason being, we definitely know that, she's in the business of fitness and health. We definitely want a September launch and we definitely want a January launch. So we have to look at this backwards and say, okay, we can't launch the same program every single month, because then when we build that urgency and we create that feeling of like, wow, few more spots left, enrollment is closing, and you launch that like every single month, people are going to not jump in. The other thing is, you cannot just launch, you cannot just sell, right? I always say you want to provide 80% value, 20% in terms of selling. So we have to, save our launches for when they're going to be most effective, and we have to lead generate in order to funnel those launches and chop up our list with cold leads, warm them up, and get them to our launches. So if you don't have your launch calendar mapped out, right? If you don't know when you're selling what you want to sell it based on, your availability, maybe you take vacations every single August with your family. Maybe, you want to take Christmas off, but you want to launch in January. You need to know when these different phases are going to be happening in your business so that you know when your money's going to come in, but you also need to know when to spend your money, right? In terms of your Facebook advertising. So this is just really important to have a rough idea. Again, it can change. You can my launch calendar changes all the time, but there's some launch periods, like I know for sure I'm going to be launching in this month, or I know for sure I'm not going to be launching in this month, right? So you want to have periods where you're going to be what I call on the gas, meaning you're selling, you're launching, and then you have periods where you're off the gas and just providing value, providing content, building your email list, right? So that's a whole other conversation. What I want you to do is map out what your launch periods are going to be and what your lead generation periods are going to be as it relates. All right, so into her case study. So we started with 800 emails on her list. So she already had 800 emails on her email list, people that she had on there from before, that had downloaded guides, that have come onto her list, clients, all kinds of good stuff. So then 600 new leads during the March lead generation period. Remember the yellow period before the March launch, or actually no, was it right? Okay, downloaded her guide. So the goal was $2 cost per lead, meaning that she spent $2 per lead on Facebook ads to get 600 new people. That is right, to get 600 new people onto her list. Thanks for the head nod. So a total of 1,002. Do you want to come say hi? You want to show everyone your shirt?
Hey guys.
So a total of 1,200 was a total that spent on Facebook ads. So now we add those 800 to those 600 people up. That's 1,400 leads going into March 2017 launch. Okay. Here, this pink arrow showing you those different numbers are how much we grew her list. And this is where, I started this video off by saying, I need you guys to get excited, because online marketing is exciting when you start to visually see this. I'm not trying to convince you of anything, by the way. I'm trying to show you how my dad would be so proud, because I'm talking about compounding, right? So how this thing really starts to blow up. At the beginning, it's hard because you have a small list and you're doing all this work, but I just need you guys to hang in there and map this out, map your launches out, and really you'll see how realistic it is to keep going. The problem where people start is they're like, it's so hard because I have a small list. Map this whole thing out and you can really see how things will start to blow up for you. So anyway, so going back to the March launch, she had 1,400 people on her launch. Are you guys getting excited, by the way, or am I the only one that really loves to geek out over this stuff? All right, I'm going to assume that you're excited. So 1.6% of her total email list took action, resulting in 16 sales. So the average cost was $308, depending on how many people paid in full and took her up on the payment plan, just divided by 2, of course. So the gross sales was $4,933 because those Facebook ads were not free, of course. Remember, we said it was $1,200 on Facebook ads, I think. So the profit was $3,733. So that was launch number 1, based on those 1,400 people on her email list. We mapped out the period. We launched for 11 days. We topped up the list with 600 people, added them to her 800 people. 1.6% took action, 16 sales, and that's what happened on the first launch. Okay, not bad. We're just starting, right? Launch number 2. So let's take a look at the projections. And this is what I want you guys all to do. As a business owner, as someone who's in the business of making money, because the only way you're going to make an impact and the only way you're going to help people and build an audience and do everything you want is if you're making money, because then otherwise you're not selling and you're not helping people, right? So that's just the real conversation that we always have to go back to and have. So we have to look at the numbers and look at the projections so that you can see where this is going. So this is the magic of compounding emails. I should totally do a compounding interest thing. My dad would be so proud. All right, so let's say that for her second launch, she invests another $1,200 into Facebook ads. So she tops up her list by another 600 new leads. This is going to be in addition to the 1,400 leads she already had after launch 1, right? Do you have any questions or I just want to make sure because we are recording this live. I know a lot of you will watch this back and that's awesome. All right, so now we're going in, she's spending $2 per lead. So now she's going into her second launch in June with 2,000 people on her email list. Let's say the same 1.6% of her email list takes action. That would be 32 sales. And I'm doing this as projections as what would happen because I always need to map this out for everyone so that you can see where this goes, right? So that you hang in and you're in it for the long haul. But I'm using 1.6% to be conservative because what starts to happen, that list that you know, those 1,400 emails that you had on your list from before, the traffic temperature, those people were cold when you launched to them in March. They didn't really know you. They didn't really necessarily like you or trust you. They just got a PDF and you sent them through your launch. When you do your job right and you do that 80% of content versus 20% of selling, they begin to build a relationship with you. They begin to get to know you. Your brand becomes familiar. You're showing them results, right? This is happening. So they're warmer. So you can expect your percentage of your email list to take action number to increase. And when that 1.6% increases to even as little as a 2%, like 0.2%, that's a 1.6% of a big number is a big business, right? So that's the situation that I'm in. I expect about 1.5% of my business to take action, right? So that's 32 sales because our email list is 2,000 people, same average gross. So same average gross in terms of per sale. So the gross on this based on the 32 sales would be 9,856 minus the 1,200 that she spent on Facebook ads to top up her list by 600 people. That's $8,656. Not freaking bad for an 11-day launch, right? So where this is happening is because we're adding to the list. The list is compounding. Number 3, right? So I'm going to go through this one a little bit quicker. Let's find my mouse. Okay, number 3, what happens? Say she invests another $1,200 every time she launches. Let's say that Facebook ads were a little bit more expensive because it happens. So they went up to $240, just to give you an example. So she puts 500 new people on her email list. So now she's got a total of 2,005. Now she's got a total of 2,005. Thanks, Felicia, you're the best. 2,500 email subscribers. Let's say the same 1.6% of her email list takes action. That's 40 sales. Right, $308 per sale, $12,320. Her profit on this launch was $11,120, right? Not bad. So that's good. I want my clients to strive for the friggin' numbers because that's what's possible, right? I want them to think big. Not that making $11,000 in 11 days is not huge, but when it comes to, Jamie's one of my VIP clients. If I get in her head, I want her to be making that much every single day, right? So I want you guys to really think bigger because that is what's possible when you see this and when you know your numbers. So when you're doing it at the beginning and you're like, oh, that's a tiny percent of people that took action. Well, you have a tiny list and it's probably a cold list. So when you do the math here, when you build out your launch calendar in a way that makes sense, you can see what's possible. So here we have, I don't know what happened to my other arrow there, but you can see the 1,400, the 2,500, and the 2,500 is the size of her list. Sorry, I think the slide got messed up. My apologies. So this is, I want you to see how you grow your list and the list size does start to grow. But I don't even want to say let's reach for the moon because this is not the moon. This is 100% realistic. And when I'm building my business or launching things, I project what would happen, right? So this is completely within, you know, this is more than realistic. So let's say I walked you from launch 1 to launch 3. Let's say she mapped out her launch, her marketing calendar. She put 6 launches, the next 6 launches onto her calendar. She mapped out when she was going to have those 11-day launches. She mapped out when she was going to lead generate for those 11-day launches. Everything was there, and she had this all figured out. And she knew that she wanted to spend, you know, $1,200 every single time prior to the next launch to top up her list. She knew she was going to put 80% value in between so that she warmed everyone up who bought from before. What would happen after launch 6 is she would, at the same $2 a lead, she would have 4,200 total subscribers from onto her email list. So she would have had the 1,800 from the previous 3 launches plus 2,500 emails she had already. She would have added 1,800 new leads from the 3 launches, and then she already had the 2,500 from before, because remember, she already came to the table with 800 leads. So total, she would have had 4,200 leads. If the same 1.6% of her list took action during this one launch, during this 11-day period, and when you grow as a brand and when people start to build a relationship with you, it's a lot more, that 1.6% really increases if you do your job right. So let's say so if 1.6% takes action of those 4,200, that's 62 sales. Because what happens here, guys, is once you pay for the lead, you don't have to pay for it again. So you're only spending that $1,200 in this scenario to chop up your list every launch, but your list has grown from your previous launches. So you're still capturing leads that are on your list. That would be 62 sales. Gross would be $19,000. Because she's only spent $1,200 in this launch example, that would mean a profit of $17,896. And I'm not saying this in any way that there's a lot of examples out there that are kind of like, that's awesome, that's kind of far-fetched. Nothing about this, and I'm like telling you, is far-fetched. You just have to have that mapped out and be able to look at the numbers, right? As long as you see here, is it realistic for Jamie to get leads under $2 a lead? 110%. She's been able to do better than that. But let's say $2 a lead. I can challenge you to do this math at $4 a lead, and she would still be insanely profitable, right? So do the math a million ways over. Map out your calendar and see, where would your business be in 6 months from now, in 6 launches from now? Because if you're judging your business based on what's happening today, because you have a small and cold list, it becomes really difficult to see how you're going to get out of the gates. So I want you guys all to have a marketing calendar mapped out. I want you to put that on paper. When are you going to launch? When are you going to be off? When are you going to be on vacation? Those sorts of things. And when do you and your business, need to make sure that you're actually launching? How long do you want to launch for? When are you going to lead generate? Those are all awesome questions that I want you guys to map out to really see what's possible and how this is going to happen. Of course, you guys know that my VIP is open for enrollment now. We are taking on students. So if you do want to do this with me, and you want me to map it all out with you, and you want me to get you to reach for the stars and beyond and demand that you make way more than $11,000 a launch, then you can definitely come on over to stephaniejoanne.com/VIP. You can fill out the application. You can jump on a call with Alyssa, and we'll see if it's the right fit. But I do want to, for a moment, answer some questions here that I'm seeing come through. Is there a template somewhere that kind of teaches us how to structure our launch email campaign sequences? I just walked you through it. Or launch email campaign sequences. I'm sure there's a template somewhere. I just want to talk about launch calendars for a second, and we can always get back to that. So an 11-day launch means 11 emails at 1 a day. No, 11-day launch means, I could send out multiple emails in a day when I am launching. So that's not necessarily the case, especially on my final day. I would send at least 2, maybe even 3. Okay, so if you guys have questions for me, you can definitely keep the comments alive. And I'll talk to you guys soon. If you have any questions, and if you want to jump on in and apply for a call for VIP, you're more than welcome to do so. I will talk to you guys soon. Later, Gators. Later, Gators. Where's my Zoom thing? So we're still, I'm like, where is it? As I'm like, later, Gatoring, I'm like, where's my Zoom thing? Oh my gosh. All right, guys, we're all still hanging out. Back to the meeting. What is going on here? Stop share.